Hello. In the previous section we made the blend shapes and now we imported the blend shapes into the Unity. Here are the blend shapes. The first one is water H1. This means the high water. This is this one. As you remember from the previous tutorials, we have to set the rig on legacy, and in the animation we don't have anything because it is about blend shape here, not about animation. You shouldn't forget to look at the scale factor of the model to set it the right way. I set it to 11 by default so that the size fits. Then the next object we imported was water 0. This is the original column of the fluid in the pipette. Water H1 was the high one. I can select it here for you to see. You see it is the high one. This is the pipette. How it looks. It is a three-dimensional object, of course. The glass around is white. This is the glass. The glass. It looks somewhat flat on this screen, but this is just because of materials. It is not the topics of this tutorial to cover the materials. We are just covering the animation and controlling of blend shapes. So the lowest stand of the fluid in the pipette is water L2, the low water. This is what is here, the last drop that goes out. For all these three blend shapes, we do the same procedure as I described a minute before for water H1. And now let us look at the script. The script is composed, as always, of several parts. At first, here above are the declarations. Then it is the start routine, the initialization at the beginning of the program, and the part that is executed during our interactions is on graphical user interface. This is about the slider. The update, which runs once per frame, is empty in this case, but also on GUI works runs once per frame, so it is executed all the time during our game. And here below is run the blend. This is a function which I explain later. It is when we do not want to control the pipette with the slider, but if we want to let it run by itself. Let us now first run the program so that you see what are we doing. Here above is the slider, and with this slider we control the level of the fluid in the pipette. This what I am moving now is water H1 part object. Now water H1 has finished, it became invisible, and water 0 object has become visible, and it is changing now, and it goes out. And now in the last part it is water L2 which is becoming visible and changing its shape. If we go back with the slider, the process goes in the other direction. This is not trivial. We have to do this in the program, and you will see that we have to cover also this. On the other hand, instead of doing this with the slider, we can let it yes, here use animation. This is the Boolean variable which tells us whether we animate automatically or use the slider. As it is false, now we use the slider, as you have just seen. If we set this one to true and save the code and run once again. So you see the slider moves by itself, the pipette empties. and then the process returns. We can also set the ping pong function. Let us now set this back to false. And here below there is another variable ping pong. This variable tells us how now it is false. This means that the animation starts once again from the start. If you put it to true, then we shall see that the animation, that the pipette empties and fills. Oh, it doesn't work because I said before the animation. Where is use animation? Here it has to be true, of course. So let's try once again. Yes, now it works.